welcome to Fantasia, home of the melodious. My name's Azallea, and today, gonna be bringing you guys another update to my Lunalight deck. Now, I know this has been highly requested ever since Norden got banned, so people are starting to drop instant fusions, but I'll show you guys an alternative that I believe is going to be really good moving forward. Very versatile build and can do a multitude of plays and even make stronger fields than the previous one. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into this. Starting off, of course, you have to play 3 copies of Lunalight Black Sheep because Black Sheep is absolutely phenomenal in the deck and key part of searching out your polymerizations. You can also discard her to add 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand, and whenever she's used as a fusion material for a fusion summon, you can add 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard or extra deck back to your hand, and that is actually really key in most of the combos. If you started watching my combo videos, she is essential to all of them. Okay, so next off, we're playing 3 copies of Lunalight Blue Cat because she is the level 4 monster in the deck. She is also a floater, which means if she's destroyed by battle or by card effects, you can bring out another Lunalight monster straight from your deck, which is really nice. And the fact that she is a level 4 allows us to go for a lot of rank 4 plays because she's easily brought back by Lunalight Tiger. And speaking of which, we actually play 3 copies of her as well. 3 copies of Lunalight Tiger, absolutely phenomenal card, and you can loop her several times in a single turn by recovering her with Black Sheep, by bouncing her back with things like Zephyros. There's so many different ways you can utilize this card to basically abuse her effect to revive things from your graveyard. Really great for bringing back things like Black Sheep so you can continuously go for fusion summons without going minus. Okay, so next card that we play is 1 copy of Lunalight Wolf. You only need 1 because she's pretty easy to search with Broad Bowl, with Perfume, and things like that. And you only need 1 to set up with. You don't ever want to draw into her. If you play multiples, you never want to draw into multiples, is what I mean. Drawing into her is completely fine because most of the combos, you need to search her out anyway. So that just saves you 1 search that you can go for additional Black Sheeps and Blue Cats and things like that. Okay, so next off, we're still playing the Dark Engine in this deck. So Dark Engine consists of 3 Armageddon Knights, which allows us to send a Dark Monster from our deck to the graveyard. Normally, you're going to be sending things like Lunalight Blue Cat, but the other option that you can send is a tech that we play, Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. If you do draw into it, there's no problem because of the following engine that I'm going to show you, but Zephyros, if you don't know, allows you to bounce 1 card that you control back to your hand to special summon it from the graveyard, and then you'll take 400 damage, and you can only use it once per duel. So really good for bouncing back things like Black Sheeps and Lunalight Tiger, so you can get an additional polymerization search, or you can get additional revival on the field. Also puts a level 4 body, so you can overlay with any of the other Blue Cats or Armageddon Knights that you have. Okay, so the next engine that we're going to incorporate is the Predaplant engine. I really do love this engine. We play 3 copies of Predaplant Orifice Scorpio, and if you're not familiar with this card, if you normal special summon this card, you can send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon 1 Predaplant monster from your deck. And the card that you're going to summon with the Scorpio is going to be your Predaplant Darling Cobra. So Darlingtonia Cobra is amazing because when she's special summoned by the effect of a Predaplant monster, you can add 1 polymerization spell card or fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. And of course, you can only activate this effect once per duel or else it'll be broken, but really good for searching out things that you need, such as Brilliant Fusion, which we do play in this deck. One of the major pieces for this, because if you search Brilliant Fusion and you activate it, you can send Trick Clown from your deck to the graveyard, which puts an additional level 4 body on your side of the field. So this is basically a nice replacement for things like Instant Fusion, where you just need another level 4 body. That's what Instant Fusion did. It brought out the Norden. Norden brought something back, instant rank 4. But in this case, if you have the Cobra and you search the Brilliant Fusion, you can get a Trick Clown onto the field. Now, if you get the Trick Clown onto the field, you're going to have 2 level 3 bodies in Scorpio and Cobra, which means that you can overlay them into something like an MX Saber Invoker to summon out things like your Zodiac Rapiers. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Zodiacs as deck, but Zodiac Rapier is actually necessary in this build because a pure Lunalight, Predaplant Lunalight build right now actually does not work without Kaleido Chick. And that's actually really funny because it's not that Kaleido Chick is super essential to the core functions of the deck, it's that we actually run out of space on the field to summon monsters. You cannot establish the fields that you're supposed to be able to without Kaleido Chick. So without Kaleido Chick, you actually clog your field with a bunch of things that you can't XYZ with further because you run out of space. You literally do not have enough monster zones to continue your combos. And I've tested this extensively, and I can assure you that Kaleido Chick is necessary for that. So in replacement, we actually go for the Zodiac Rat Piers, because Zodiac Rat Pier can put additional level 4 body on the field in itself and the other copy if you overlay your Scorpio and Cobra into an MX Saber Invoker. And of course, we also tech one copy of Zodiac Whiptail, because if you do not have enough space, you do not need to summon the Rat Piers. You can instead go for a Zodiac Whiptail, which is nice to put under your Dryad anyway. It gives it 1200 attack, and whatever it battles gets banished after the damage calculation. So that's always really nice to have. So this little mini Zodiac engine, we'll call it, it's really, really good for helping us maintain enough space on the field. In fact, with the combo that I can show you guys in a few days, I'll upload a combo video for it, but with the Scorpio and Cobra, you summon MX Saber Invoker, you summon Rat Pier or Whiptails, and then you have to go into a Tornado Dragon to destroy your own Brilliant Fusion, because you need to get rid of your Seraphonite, or else you don't have enough space on your field to go for additional like Harbingers and things like that. So it sounds like a mess, but hopefully the combo video can clear things up later. Okay, anyway, moving on. For Brilliant Fusion targets, we play one copy of Perform Mage Trick Clown for that additional level 4 body on the field. Also, if you run out of light targets, if you drew into your Trick Clown, you can always send Wolf or Tiger. And sending Wolf or Tiger is fine because your Black Sheep can actually recover them from the graveyard, so there's some synergy there as well. For your Gemini target, you can play anything that you want. I prefer Lazuli because I just have a Lazuli lying around. And for our hand traps, we play one copy of Max C. I still think this is essential, even with like True Dracos and things running around, because the most popular True Draco build is Zodiac True Dracos, so this puts a halt to all their summons. And the last hand trap that we play, cut this down from 3 to 2, but we play 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Still an amazing hand trap right now. Cut it down because there's not enough space in this deck. It's already a 45 card deck, and it works pretty consistently, so that's why I didn't want to add additional cards to clog, but I think 2 is enough. But yeah, that's it for the monsters. Next off, we're going to go into the spell cards. Alright, so for the spell cards, starting off, we're playing 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. Of course, this is like the roto for the deck. You can search out any level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monster, and the 100 attack boost that it gives some of your Lunalight monsters is actually kind of relevant, especially when you have things like Cat Dancer and Panther Dancer on the field. You can attack over things that you normally wouldn't be able to. Okay, so next off, some of the fusion cards that we play that you can search out with the Predaplants. You can obviously search out the key card in this build, which is going to be Brilliant Fusion. Brilliant Fusion lets you put Seraphonite on the field, which allows you to go for a second normal summon, which is great because if you had something like an Armageddon Knight, you can summon your Scorpio, get your Cobra, whatever, get your Brilliant Fusion, put Seraphonite on the field, then you can summon your Armageddon Knight using your second normal summon, and then continue going off from there, which is actually a really important part of the combo that I will show you guys in a few days. Okay, next off, we're playing 2 copies of Polymerization because key fusion card in the deck, and of course 1 copy of Fusion Substitute. I still love this card because of the combo that we do. If you destroy your own Brilliant Fusion, you put Seraphonite into your graveyard, you can actually use Fusion Substitute on that turn and get an additional draw. So you don't have to wait until next turn to get the draw like we did in the previous combo video with Norden. Okay, so next off, we're playing 2 copies of Fusion Recovery because we still don't have Kaleido Chick. Kaleido Chick will definitely replace this card because Kaleido Chick brings back a Polymerization when she is sent to the graveyard by a card effect. But unfortunately, we don't have that. But the cool thing about Fusion Recovery is that you can actually search it out with your Cobra. So if you had Brilliant Fusion or whatever in your hand, you can always search the Fusion Recovery, which helps immensely with card advantage, essentially a +1. Okay, so next card that we play, 3 copies of Lunalight Perfume. Again, you need revival cards. So Lunalight Tiger, Lunalight Perfume. Brilliant Fusion kind of replaces the instant fusion because it puts another level 4 body on the field, but that's what Perfume essentially does. It lets you bring things back and lets you get searches, not limited to once per turn at all, either of its effects, so it's pretty good. So yeah, highly recommend playing 3 copies. Okay, next card, we play 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. This is just to search out the Armageddon Knight, essentially a 4th copy of the Armageddon Knight. And that's it for the spell cards. Next off, we're going to go into the trap cards. Okay, so for the trap cards, we're actually playing 3 copies of Solemn Strike. Now, I already sold my Solemn Strikes because they already announced the reprint, so I'm using these blank proxies as like a placeholder for them. If you want to learn how to make these blank proxy things, I can make a video on that. Just let me know in the comment section down below if you're interested. But yeah, 3 Solemn Strikes adds a great additional layer of protection to your field with your Harbinger, Tornado Dragons, Dridents, and things like that. If you have a Solemn Strike or anything like that, if you have hand traps like Ghost Ogre or Max C, it's just that much better for you to ensure that your opponent cannot break your field and that you can win on your next turn. So yeah, 3 copies of Solemn Strike. I absolutely love it. No Solemn Warnings actually in the main deck because sometimes if you lose a dice roll and you go second, Solemn Warning is actually really bad to draw into because then it's kind of dead because your opponent already has an established field. So that's the reasoning behind that. Anyway, we're going to go and jump into the side deck. Okay, so for the side deck, starting off, we're playing the 3rd copy of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, just in case you're going up against those decks like True King Dinosaurs or Zodiacs where you need the extra copy. But yeah, speaking of Zodiacs, we're actually playing 3 copies of Flying Sea, and Flying Sea is great. It's basically a dimensional barrier, but on your opponent's first turn. So if they're going and Zodiac comboing off, you can drop that Flying Sea on them, and it basically stops their plays unless they have a Chalice or like a Barrage or something like that to deal with this. But yeah, normally you drop it after they use the Barrage, so it basically stuffs their entire turn. Okay, next off, we're playing 1 copy of Raigeki for the field clears, especially if you're going second. Definitely side this in, alongside 2 copies of Dark Hole if you feel like you need it, against things like True King Dinosaurs and things like that, where they make big oppressive fields that stop you from basically playing. You want to break that board as soon as possible, so either bait out their effects with these, or you just wipe their entire field with them. Okay, and alongside the Monster Destruction, we also have Spell and Trap Destruction in the form of Twin Twisters. So 3 copies of Twin Twisters. You might notice that I'm not playing any Spell and Trap removal in the main deck. It's because I play Tornado Dragon in the extra deck, and it's pretty easy to bring out on your first turn, so you do have some form of removal there, and you can always recycle your Tornado Dragon over and over. So I just decided to side the Twin Twisters. It's also because of the fact that there's not enough space in the main deck, 45 card main deck, and I didn't want to add additional stuff to it. Okay, so for the trap cards, we're actually playing 3 copies of Lost Wind. Lost Wind is additional negation and actually counts as 6 copies of negation because it can bring itself back from the graveyard whenever your opponent summons from the extra deck. Now, you can negate the effect of a special summon monster and have its original attack, which is really great for setting up for large amounts of damage with your Lunalight fusion monsters. So you could do large amounts of damage, and it permanently negates their effects. So this is actually a phenomenal card to have. And last but not least, I actually side the Solemn Warning. Don't play it in the main deck anymore, mostly because if I'm going first, I can side this in, but if I know I'm going second, I'll leave this out, because I realized that I started siding out Solemn Warning a lot when I've been playing this deck, so decided to just put it in the side and side it in when I needed it, instead of siding it out almost every other game, right? So yeah, that's it for the most of the side deck. I think it's 14 cards, right? The 15th card, is the Abyss Dweller. Actually, they side the Abyss Dweller for things like True King Dinosaurs. The reason I do this is because True King Dinosaurs and things like that are not very popular right now, or they're popular, but they're not doing too well overall. So Abyss Dweller, just siding it, can lock them down in your future games, like games 2 and 3 if you go into those, but you don't necessarily need it in your extra deck. Because of the fact that it's actually a really tight extra deck, and I couldn't find any space for the Abyss Dweller. So yeah, that's 15 cards for the side deck. Next off, we're going to go into the extra deck. Okay, so for the extra deck, starting off, we're playing 1 copy of MX Saber Invoker. This is the rank 3 monster that you want to overlay into with your Predaplant Orphis Scorpio and your Predaplant Darlingtonia Cobra. So once you make your Invoker, you can summon out your Rapiers, your Whiptails from your deck, and you can go into your modified Zodiac combo that we use for this specific build. Speaking of these Zodiacs, we play 1 copy of Zodiac Tiger Mortar. Now, Tiger Mortar, it used to be that you can play any other Zodiac in place of the Tiger Mortar, but in this specific build, for the combos that we have to do, you need a Tiger Mortar to be able to attach the Rapiers from your graveyard back to your XYZs in order to preserve your materials. So that's why we have to play a Tiger Mortar in this specific build. Okay, next off, we were playing 2 copies of Zodiac Brawl Ball, so you can go for your double searches. Of course, you overlay 2 level 4s for your first Brawl Ball, get your search. You're going to overlay into a Tiger Mortar, use her effect if necessary, and then overlay the second Brawl Ball on top of the Tiger Mortar to get your second search. That's why we had to play 2. Pretty good because of course, it minimizes the cards that you have to open with in order to successfully do your combos, and this lets you search out whatever missing combo pieces that you need. And of course, the Zodiacs aren't complete without topping the tower with a Zodiac Trident, which allows you to continue your plays by popping your Lunalight Tigers, by popping your Lunalight Blue Cats, even destroying your own Brilliant Fusions if necessary. And Trident also provides disruption for your opponent on their turn, popping their field spells, popping their monsters, and things like that. So really good card. Next off, we're playing 2 copies of Daigusto Emerald, and when I say this is absolutely necessary now, it's absolutely necessary because some of the combos that we do can get upwards of 11 cards out of your extra deck on your first turn. So yeah, it's really essential to be able to recycle things, especially your Zodiac monsters, because out of all your XYZs, you probably use these Zodiac monsters the most to get your searches, to get your pops with Trident, and continue your plays. So that's why I think 2 Daigusto is absolutely necessary here. Next off, we play 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, a new card that came out recently, and if you don't know what it does, it requires 2 level 4 monsters, and it says once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, then target 1 spell trap card in the field, and destroy it. So this is absolutely amazing for destroying your own Brilliant Fusions, destroying your Lunalight Tigers, destroying your opponent's field spells, and things like that. Even their back row, during their end phase, when they're ending their turn, they have like 1 or 2 back row, you can just pop one of those as well, so it's safer going into your turn. Just absolutely phenomenal card, and I think it's a bit underrated right now because people aren't really playing it as much as I expected them to. And but yeah, of course, when we're talking about spell and trap destruction, you have to talk about Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy. So Harbinger is really great for just negating spell cards, and typically we would be negating things like field spell cards or like Dragonic Diagrams and things like that, or Zodiac Barrages. You'd be negating Raigekis or Twin Twisters and stuff. But now, in conjunction with Tornado Dragon, Harbinger actually doesn't have to worry about as much as it used to. It used to be that your opponent tried to bait out the Harbinger and then go off, but now they have to deal with Tornado Dragon popping their Barrage or their Dragonic Diagrams, and then they have to deal with Harbinger negating Raigekis, Twin Twisters, and whatever additional spell cards that they actually need to go off. So having Harbinger alongside Tornado Dragon is actually really great. And it makes it even better when you have a Trident or like a Strike, hand traps, and things like that to back it up. You just have a phenomenal field ready to tackle your opponent's cards when they come into play. So yeah, that does it for the XYZs. Next off, we're going to go into the fusions. So starting off the fusions, we're actually playing 1 copy of Gemknight Seraphinite. Seraphinite is the Brilliant Fusion target for the deck. You just send a Light monster and a Gemknight monster to the graveyard, and she allows you to go for your second normal summon that turn, which is great because we play a lot of cards that require normal summons like Armageddon Knight, Orphis Scorpio, and things like that. So absolutely amazing card, and although she does clog the field, we do have ways to get rid of her with Trident and by Tornado Dragon and things like that, by popping our own Brilliant Fusions, get her off the field, all that good stuff. Okay, so the next fusion that we play 2 copies of Lunalight Cat Dancer. The first stage of the Lunalight fusions requires 2 Lunalight monsters as you can't be destroyed by battle. I'd highly recommend not attacking with this card, especially now that everyone's maining like 3 copies of Ghost Ogre. When she attacks, her mandatory effect triggers where she burns the opponent for 100 damage, and people can Ghost Ogre you when you try to use that effect. So she's kind of a risky play, but she does come in handy sometimes if you just need a quick fusion to attack for game. But normally you'd want to actually summon out your Lunalight Panther Dancer, which we play 2 copies of, because Panther Dancer cannot be destroyed by card effects, and if you activate her effect in the main phase 1, she can attack every monster your opponent controls twice each, which is really good for going for OTKs. Cat Dancer can do that as well, but you have to tribute another Lunalight monster to do it, so it requires additional cards. She can get Ghost Ogre to things like that. It's just not worth the trouble of doing it. Most of the time you just want to go for Panther Dancer when you're swinging for game. Really easy to bring out, and we play 2 copies because you need her for the Harbinger. You can also recycle her with your fusion substitute, and you can also put her back with Daigusto Emerald and things like that. You can also revive both Cat Dancer and Panther Dancer with your Lunalight perfumes. So if they're in the graveyard and you have a perfume, you can just instantly put a fusion back on the field and swing for mass amounts of damage. Now, just speaking of swinging for massive amounts of damage, the last card in our extra deck is going to be a Lunalight Leo Dancer. Everyone's favorite Lunalight for some reason, because she is so bulky, so powerful. 3,500 attack, but she requires a Panther Dancer and 2 other Lunalight monsters. So I don't really like summoning her unless it's a last-ditch, like, swinging for game OTK. The reason being that you want to keep your Panther Dancers in circulation for most of the time, and the easiest way to summon the Leo Dancer is when your Harbinger gets destroyed and it puts the Panther Dancers into your graveyard. You can have your Lunalight Wolf in your scale, banish the Panther Dancer and 2 other Lunalight monsters to summon the Leo Dancer and just swing for game out of nowhere. So that's the time I like to summon the Leo Dancer. Otherwise, I tend to revolve around the XYZs and Panther Dancer to go for game. But yeah, that does it for the extra deck, and that does it for the deck profile. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Lunalight content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.